Hey there. Now, imagine if your to do list was actually done, finished, finito. My name is Dina Eisenberg, and I'm the founder of Dina's Rolodex and Outsource Easier. I'm a virtual search consultant, and some have called me an outsourcing goddess. I'm on a mission to stamp out grunt work for every micro business owner that I know, and that includes you. I'm pretty happy to be with you today talking about a topic that, I get asked about a lot. One of the main questions that people ask me all the time is, so when am I ready to outsource? So in this short mini training video, we're going to talk about why you should outsource and when you're going to be ready. So we're going to talk a little bit about why outsourcing is good for you, the three lies that keep you stuck, and who you want on your virtual dream team. Because outsourcing really is your secret weapon if you want to grow your business without burning out. And I can say that from my own personal experience that my business has grown faster when I've had help. But it was hard to get there. I was a little stubborn in the beginning. So let me just tell you how I got to be the outsourcing goddess. Because no one goes to college saying that's what they want to be. They want to be the outsourcing goddess, and I didn't either. It sort of grew on me. And it kind of all started with a sneeze. Um, Years ago, right before we bought our first house, my husband, who was then the fiance, lost his job. And he was terrified because he's the kind of person who's never, ever not had a job. He's never been fired. He's always worked for the same person. And he likes that sense of security. So for him, it was terrifying that he didn't have a job anymore on the eve of taking on such a huge financial responsibility. But I was overjoyed. I knew what a great and masterful market researcher he was, and that he had led some pretty impressive teams, and that the money that he was making for his employer, he could be making for himself. So I talked him into starting his own business. It was a good idea. 3 years later, he was running $1 million business. Then one night, something happened. He sneezed and blew out two discs in his back. And at the bottom of your back, you probably don't know this because I didn't know it until it happened to me. There's actually a sac of nerves, and that bundle of nerves control everything from your waist down on your body. And when he sneezed and those discs ruptured, they smashed that sac. So we had a speedy emergency ride to the hospital. And you know how on dramatic, like on Grey's Anatomy or House, the doctor comes out and says, if we don't operate in 30 minutes, the person's going to be paralyzed? Well, that actually happened to me. The doctor said if we don't operate in 90 minutes, your fiance is going to be paralyzed. So there I am at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering what the heck am I going to do tomorrow, hoping that he's okay. Now, he pulled through surgery great, but he was really down for a long time, 2 weeks in a rehab hospital and then 2 years of rehab. And this is what happened with his clients. Even though they loved him, they praised him to the skies, the minute he got sick, they dropped him. Every major client, and these are some of the leaders in corporate America, dropped him. And the reasoning was he didn't have backup. I distinctly remember how useless I felt because I couldn't run his business. I didn't know the procedures. I didn't know the phone numbers. He kept everything in his head. It was very frustrating. Finally, I had to run around and buy him a laptop so that he could actually work from the hospital. How ridiculous is that? In the middle of probably one of the largest health challenges he'll ever have, he had to work through that. And I just didn't think that was right. And so that's when I got seriously, seriously interested in creating backup. Backup for the income and backup for you. I don't think any business owner should be running their business unless they have standard operating procedures in place and a team who can actually run your business if something happens and either you can't or you don't want to run your business. Maybe you want to go on vacation for a few weeks. Maybe there's a family issue and you need to take care of your parents and you're going to be gone for a few months. You need to know that when you're not there, your income continues because you have a team to do that. And that's sort of how I got to the point where I was really focusing on outsourcing for my business and making it portable. Because my business was portable, I was able to pick up after 25 years in Boston and moved to California. So I want those kind of things for you too. I want your business to be portable. I want you to be able to be away from your business so that it's automated and it runs without you, and that you always have the help that you need at your fingertips. And we're going to talk a little bit more later about how you can get that done. So for the first thing, let's talk about why outsourcing is so good for you. And I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's kind of like, Brussels sprouts or spinach. It's good for you even though you might not want to eat it. Outsourcing is good for you in terms of your business. Your business will actually grow faster when it has the input of other talented folks. I mean, sure, you're great. I'm not saying that. You're an expert at what you do. You're fabulous. But you don't know everything and you can't do everything, right? And so when you decide to open up your business and let other people come into it, your productivity skyrockets because there's another set of hands, another thinking partner to help you. You get expertise that you don't normally have yourself. You'll have graphic designers or you'll have writers, and they'll be able to do things that you couldn't possibly do. You're on your own. Yeah, you could try to do them, but they're not going to be as quality as when someone is doing an expert is doing it. So it's really good for your business. Not to mention the time that you spend doing that sort of grunt worky stuff that feels good, feels like you're working, but you're actually not. That time could actually be devoted to revenue generating activities like networking, relationship building, taking courses to increase your skill. So the time that you spend on grunt work is, in my opinion, sort of doubly wasted. Your business will go faster when you have another set of hands, another set of brain working on it. Outsourcing is good for you personally. I know a lot of people who started their businesses after coming out of corporate life. And unless you were a manager, you're not really used to managing other people. And even if you were a manager, I can tell you from my days as an ombudsman that many managers did not have a clue about how to manage others, how to delegate, how to collaborate. And if that's you, no worries. We don't get taught that very well in the corporate life. But here's your opportunity to learn that in your own business, right? When you begin to outsource and delegate more, you expand your capacity. You're able to communicate more clearly because you have to. If you're not clear in your communications, you don't get back good results. You have to really think about your projects and start thinking of it in a system, in terms of systems and putting those things in place. So you spend more time thinking about your business than probably you do now, right? How many times in a week do you actually sit down and stop and think, okay, I can spend an hour planning and thinking about where my business is going? You probably don't do that. But when you start to outsource, you have to do those things because you're directing somebody else, right? And so you have to have those foundational things in place. And it's also good for you just from a personal standpoint. Being able to speak up and speak clearly and ask for what you want is something that I think every person should be able to handle and handle successfully. Being able to give feedback when it's maybe not the best feedback is an important skill to learn, and you're going to get those skills when you outsource. So outsourcing is great for your business, it's great for you, but it's also great for your clients. Think how much better you can serve them when you're actually focusing all your attention on your clients. That you're not scattered with your part of your mind in this bucket and part in that bucket and just all over the place. When you can give them laser focus, imagine the quality of thought that you can bring to your clients. That's pretty awesome, right? So outsourcing is good for you, it's good for your business, it's good for your clients. So why aren't you doing it? There's a couple of explanations. I'm not any different than you are. So these excuses have been my excuses, but I've just given them up because they're not good for me. So I want to share them with you. It's the three lies, right? So these are the three lies that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck in our business, struggling day to day, really just beaten down by overwhelm because we have way too much stuff to do and we're just holding on to it so tight we don't want anybody else to do it. The first lie that I hear entrepreneurs and small business owners say all the time is, it takes too long to explain to somebody else to do it. I'm just going to do it myself. You probably said that, right? I know I said that one for years and years. Oh, it'll just be 2 seconds. I'll just do it myself. Well, no, the truth of the matter is it's not ever just 2 seconds, right? It's 20 minutes, it's an hour, it's 2 hours, it's your day gone and you don't even know where it went. And I'm talking about you, Canva, because that thing is like a time suck, right? So it might take you a little bit to explain to somebody else, but that 15, 20 minutes, and if, believe me, if you can't explain it in 20 minutes, you don't really know what you want to get done. I'll just be pretty clear about that. If you can't explain it in 20 minutes, you don't know what it is that you want to get done. So that's something to think about. So spend that 20 minutes and you get back an hour's worth of time that you can spend on anything else. So, yes, it's probably faster for you to do it yourself, but it's not better for your business. The second lie we tell ourselves is, oh gosh, if I don't do it, it's just not going to be done right. You can't trust anybody. This is me. It's my creativity. It's my soul. Yes, yes. I totally get that. And you know what? You can direct other people to do it. I found out that some of the greatest artists of our time, like Tom Ford and all those other designers, don't necessarily do their own work. They have the inspiration, the idea, the vision, and then they have folks that help them carry that vision out. That's exactly what you're going to be doing. And that's what you should be doing as the leader in your business. It's your job to have brilliant ideas, not to do them yourself. Right? So that's the second lie that we tell ourselves. Oops. The third lie is the most common of all. I've said it, you've said it, say it with me now. I can't afford to outsource. Well, guess what? That's a lie. You can afford to outsource. Whatever your budget is, there's somebody available to help you with your work. If you told me that you only could afford $3 an hour, I could find you somebody who could do work for you and quality work for $3 an hour. With online platforms like Fiverr and Upwork and Clarity and some of the other more alternative ones, there's never be an opportunity for you not to be able to find work. There's always somebody available for you. And moreover, there's always somebody available 24 hours a day when you get into global outsourcing. So, I mean, one of the advanced tactics that I sort of teach is that when you've been outsourcing a while, one of the things you can do is pick providers who are in a time zone other than yours so that the work happens while you're sleeping and you get up in the morning and you're correcting the work that someone else has left for you. You give that feedback and go through your day. They wake up and they get your feedback. And so it actually shortens your delivery time. But I wouldn't do that just to start. When you're starting out, you want to do it pretty simple. Someone, you know, in your time zone if you could do it, or, watching the time zones. But we'll talk more about that in another video. This video, we're really focusing on when will you be ready to outsource. So I talked to you a little bit about why it's good for you, what's keeping you stuck. When are you ready to outsource? You are ready to outsource when the pain of the consequences, the neglect, the procrastination, the guilt outweigh your fear and your doubt about doing the wrong thing. Because honestly, that's what's holding you back. Your fear and your doubt that you'll do the wrong thing, you'll say the wrong thing, you'll pick the wrong person. That's why Dina's Rolodex is such a great tool, because it eliminates all those worries. The right providers are already in there. They've already been vetted for you, and they're waiting to do your work. So, dream team. Who do you want in your dream team? I love talking about this topic, right? You might think that because you're a solo or you're a micro business, maybe you have under 9, that wow, how could I be outsourcing? I can't afford to do it. This is not something for me. It's absolutely, positively for you. No matter where you are in your business, a startup, you're seasoned, you're getting to enterprise level, no matter where you are, outsourcing is for you. And in fact, if you've been paying attention to some of the best marketing voices of our time, folks like Pat Flynn and Chris Ducker and I think even Alicia Forrest and certainly Natalie Sisson, all talk about how they have teams that help them do their work, right? So you need to really think about having a team. Now, who's on your dream team? Duh. You want an attorney on your dream team. Now, I know you're thinking, I'm too small, I don't need him. you know what? You need to have an attorney because if you're doing business at all, and particularly if you're doing business online, the laws are changing. You need to know where the boundaries are so that you're always going to stay on the right side of the boundaries, particularly around advertising and those kinds of things. There's been some FCC rule changes that you just need to know about in terms of disclaimers. If you don't have terms and conditions and a privacy statement on your website, you need those. That's why you need a lawyer as part of your dream team. Now, you can get somebody local. That's great. Just make sure that they're a business lawyer. You can actually go to your bar association and ask them. Most bar associations have a internal referral service. That means that they refer lawyers that are part of the bar, and as part of the deal, you get a discount on your first meeting. So you could do a local lawyer. It will definitely be inside your budget, but you can also find lawyers online. There are places like Avo, kind of like avocado, AVVOO, I think it is. And that's a website where lawyers are rated. So you can get that online lawyer. Or Rocket Lawyer. That's another website where you can find lawyers who are going to give you some help. Or how about Clarity.fm? That's on demand advice, and they certainly have lawyers on that platform. I actually had my own terms and conditions done by a Fiverr provider for $10. And I'm an attorney myself, so yeah, I could have done it, but it's not worth my time to try to figure out how to do it. And much easier, faster, and better to have somebody who does it all the time create the terms. So you definitely need a lawyer on your dream team. You also need a bookkeeper or an accountant. Now, if you're a micro business owner, really you need a bookkeeper. You can use an accountant once a quarter to go over your books or help you with any particular purchases that you're going to make or decisions. But your money kind of is best spent with a bookkeeper. And you could certainly find a great bookkeeper on Upwork or actually even Fiverr, Odesk, which of course is now Upwork. All have bookkeepers that will help you set up your account. So maybe you're using Cashku or FreshBooks or Wave. That's a free accounting program. And you don't know how to set that up? Hey, hire a VA for an hour or two to set up your bookkeeping. And there are VAs by type. So you can get a tech VA, you can get a bookkeeping VA, you can get an author support VA. They're all different types, right? So you want an attorney and you want a bookkeeper. You definitely want a tech person. Got to have a tech person. Oof, they're so vital. Particularly if you're using WordPress. And if you're not using WordPress, you're still using something like Weebly or Wix, stop that. You're going to do so much better if you're on a WordPress platform. First of all, it indicates that you're feeling professional about what you're doing. Secondly, WordPress is easy to manipulate yourself, so you can do a lot of DIY on it. But more importantly, WordPress is a platform where there is a plethora of help available to you. Not only can you get a WordPress VA, but you can get all kinds of WordPress experts. And on Upwork, they actually have a special category all for WordPress experts. So you definitely need an IT person because you'll want to make sure that your website stays updated, that you put the security on your site. There's a lot of hacking going along these days. That you got the right plugins. You want AskMet to keep the spam down, and certainly you want an SEO plugin like SEO Yoast. And if you don't know about those things, you don't need to learn about it. You just need to find somebody else who knows about it. That was actually one of the best lessons I got from law school. Is my professor said, the key to being a great lawyer is not knowing everything. The key to being a great lawyer is knowing where to find the resources that you need. And it's the same thing about being a great business person, right? You just need to know where to find the resources that you need. And that's why Dina's Rolodex is such a great tool. And I'm so excited to share it with you later. So far it's an attorney, we have a bookkeeper, we have an IT person. I also think you just generally need to have a virtual assistant. And I know this might seem like a little bit of a luxury, but I don't actually think of it that way. I think having the assistant does two things for you. One, it actually helps you get more work done because there's somebody else who can do it. And there are always things that you don't like doing. Like personally, I do not like to test my own stuff. When I put out products, I don't like to test the shopping cart and to test the email system. And so I have somebody else do that stuff, right? So the things that you don't really want to do, but you could do yourself, if you forced yourself, it's not worth it, right? That's the kind of stuff that you're gonna send off to your regular VA. You want to stay on top of your social media and make sure it's always fresh and yummy. Well, you can actually hire very inexpensively someone to craft your content and distribute it for you on a regular basis. I had one client who did that, and she spent about $40 a month to have her Twitter and her Facebook updated on a weekly basis. But it's just as easy to hire your own VA on a long term basis because then that person really gets to know you, they get to know your voice. And I would definitely do that kind of ongoing work, not on Fiverr, but on Upwork or one of the other platforms because particularly Upwork has a great workroom which makes it easy to monitor and stay on top of ongoing work. So, and we'll talk more about that in the Upwork training that's in the, let's see, excellent training center. And so you'll find that inside of Dina's Rolodex. So what we're talking about now is your dream team. I think you're pretty well rounded out when you have those four pieces. But the last piece that you might want to add, and again, I don't think this is a luxury, a writer. You really want to find somebody who is a fabulous web writer. Now, I'm sure you're a great writer. I'm a great writer. But I'll be the first one to admit that I really can't write great web copy. I'm just, not good at writing titles, and I need somebody else to do that. Now, can you find an app for that? Yes, you can. There's an app in the App Store that helps you create titles. But wouldn't it be so much more fun to actually sort of sit down with a writer and brainstorm? One of the things I did early on in my business when I really wanted to get a handle on why I was doing what I'm doing and what made this so meaningful for me is that I hired somebody from Fiverr, and a writer, to sit down and ask me questions about the business. And there's something about that exercise. You can write it down yourself, you can think about it, but being asked by some other person really triggers something miraculous. And the answers that came out were fabulous and things that I hadn't really known before I started saying them out loud. So you really want to have a writer on your team, even if it's just for a little bit. If you're just starting your blog out, having a writer write the first 5 blog posts for you, it really will take the pressure off. You'll have some excellent writing to start, and you'll have a template so that you can sort of look at that template and say, okay, I'm going to try to write in that style. It's like a little primer for you, or a primer, depending on how you like to say it. So those are the 5 folks I think that you need to have on your dream team. You need an attorney, you need a bookkeeper, you need an IT person, you need a virtual assistant, and you need a writer. I almost forgot the last one. You need a writer. And of course your team can be bigger than that. No worries. But that's a good core team to start with, right? And if your writer is also a marketing person, that's fine too. That's actually the bonus. But that's the team I would have around you. And you know what? Having that team at your disposal in terms of having them be freelancers is going to be critical to how fast your business gets off the ground and grows. Right? You have a lot of things to focus on in terms of just doing the work, the client services. Um, of course, you need to be involved in marketing, but you don't need to necessarily be doing it all yourself. And that sort of leads me to talking to you a little bit about Dina's Rolodex, which I mentioned earlier. It's the only portal for micro business owners who want to leverage their time, earn more money, and grow their business. I created the Rolodex because my clients, who are great folks, were just not completing their projects. And when I said to them, hey, what up with that? Why aren't you finishing that great video series we talked about or that ebook? What they said was, I don't know how. I don't know how to find the help, and I actually don't have time to learn how to do this myself. And so I started curating for them a little bit at a time. Here's a video guy, here's an audio person, here's a VA that can help you with social media management. And it occurred to me, boom, like boom. Hey, that's what you should be doing. That's where you can put the most value in. Because sure, lots of people can teach you how to create content based on your professional expertise, which is what I was doing. But there's not that many people out there who can teach you how to delegate and outsource and grow your business using OPT, what I call other people's talents. Anybody from the 80s know what OPP meant? And so I'm really excited to be offering up this resource. It's 200 plus providers that I've worked with since 2010. Anybody that was any good, that was fabulous, I collected those folks and I kept them into my private Rolodex. And now I'm happy to share that with you. Inside the Rolodex, as an elite member, you'll get access, 24/7 access to all the providers. You'll get ongoing monthly training because there's some things that you should be doing in your business that you probably don't have time for. They're on your someday list. Well, we're going to drag them off the list and get them done. Each month we'll have a different training focused on outsourcing a different task in your business that's going to help you grow. And we have a private Facebook group because I think the best learning happens when we're learning all together. So it's there. I'm going to answer your questions about outsourcing and delegation. You're going to share the projects that you're going to do, and so we can give you some feedback. Because you want to know, does that look right? Do I want A or B? And that's the place where you're going to be able to get that feedback without having to bother everybody in the private Facebook group. Now, you might think that this kind of resource is going to be very expensive. I would think so because it's taken 5 years to gather all the resources together. It's the first of its kind. Just being able to get so much of your time back is priceless. But I didn't want to make this tool priceless. I really wanted to make it so affordable that everybody could be a member and benefit. So, elite membership in Dina's Rolodex is just $38 a month. That's right. You get 24-hour access to over 200 providers. You get monthly training. You get private coaching. Actually, yeah, private coaching in the Facebook group. And, my expert advice. I'm sharing all the tips, the strategy, and there is quite a bit of strategy using Fiverr and Upwork and all those different platforms. Everything that I learned in the past 5 years so that you don't make the same mistakes, that you get off and have on the right foot and you have a great experience. Now, if you're somebody who had maybe a poor experience outsourcing online, it's perfect for you because now you'll have the tools and support to really understand what's going on and really have a good experience. So, if you've learned something from this mini training, I'm so glad. I hope you'll leave a comment for me below, maybe telling me about the first project you're going to work on. If you're ready to actually step out there and get more done in your business, to have a team that's ready for you whenever you need it, I'd be so excited to have you as a member, an elite member in Dina's Rolodex. All you need to do is click through the button and come on inside. See you in the next video. We'll be talking about what to outsource.